Good afternoon, fellow Ambazonians. Good afternoon, and welcome again to ABS TV. Welcome to the set of the War Zone. It's been a while that we haven't been here, but we are here today. We were called away for some unforeseen circumstances, and we are here again today after about 2 weeks absence. So it's good to have you here with me in the set of the War Zone. I'm Mike Fusi, your humble host. Fellow Ambassadors, I would like for you to, we have kind of rushed things today because we're just still trying to get things in order as we normally have them. But it's not been quite easy getting the program up to speed as usual. We're still trying to get things together. I hope my guests are here with me, and I have some really interesting topics that we'll have to discuss today. But before I do that, I'd like to welcome you again to the show and encourage you to do me a favor and share the link. I hope the link is out there on the various social media fora. I hope they're out there. So if you have the link, please just do well to share it out there. I didn't quite get a chance to do that before I logged in, signed on to be on the show. Now, there are quite a few things that I would like to go talk about first before we get into the show proper. One of which, of course, is I know many of you must have heard by now that during the week, the wife of Comrade Bo Hubbard passed away in a ghastly accident traveling, I think, from Virginia to Washington, D.C. When she attended Fundi's wake keeping. And during that commute, she had an accident and did not survive it. So we are using this opportunity to extend our condolences to Comrade Bo Hubbard. It is a difficult moment to lose your partner in life, someone you've spent so many years with, the mother of your children. And I know it must be a very difficult moment for Comrade Bo Hubbard, and we just want him to know that we are praying for him, that he may have the fortitude to bear this loss. It is really tragic. Very tragic for something like that, especially given the fact that she went out to pay her respects to John Fundi, and it's just so unfortunate that it happened to be to have cost her her own life. So we want the Bo Hubbard family to understand that we are praying for them. That said, fellow Ambassadors, I was just, before I came on the show, I had some videos that came through, of some really brilliant performances or performance from none other than the Bull Warriors. The Bull Warriors have been consistent, they have been resilient, they have been unforgiving to the criminal soldiers of La Republic. They have stood the test of time, and the Unity Warriors continue to perform and give us the kind of results that we expect from every other fighting group out there on the ground. And I just want for us to acknowledge their accomplishments and their resilience by just watching maybe a video or two of what they have done today, July the 11th, 2023. It's something that happened today, not yesterday. It's something that just happened today. And we have those videos. We have at least 2 videos, but we can at least view one to see exactly what the Unity Warriors are doing, contrary to the narrative out there that a lot of people wants to push that, oh, everything is back to normal. But no, everything is not back to normal. I don't know if the studio has those videos. We can take a look at them and then probably after that, I will have to bring in my guests so we can discuss the other topics of the day. But I'm supposed to be joined by uh, Chairman Patrick, as my Gertrude. Unfortunately, Comrade Lehman won't be able to join us. He's been here before. I'm sure he'll be here again some other time, but he won't be able to join us today. So I have Chairman Patrick, as I've said, and as well as my Gertrude joining me today in the discussions that we'll be bringing forth to you. So, fellow Ambazonians, again, do me a favor and share the link. I'm not logged in myself on Facebook yet, but I'm sure you can see the link out there. Share it so that others can see that the show is on and join us. So, I don't know, probably we will not be able to see the videos right now, maybe later on in the program, but okay, that is the video. That is the video.
So
The videos right now, maybe later on.
yes, General, on your life. I'm pushing this up. Life. I see them. I made them. My yeah. Ambush on the top. Now on your life and the squad. Now see na second target. Now see second target. Now see second target. Yes, I don't funny him. Down on foot. Yes. Shake not day. General, alias Newsman. Alias Newsman. Ambush units up. Yes. That one the way to come out food. I don't finish up. Wonyo alias Newsman. Shake no day. General Wonyo alias the Newsman. Ambush units up. Yes. I made this. Lead by me. General Wonyo. Shake no day. They don't confirm him. Shake no day. So
yes, I see now Wonyo life. Wonyo, General Wonyo, Brigadier General Wonyo from Saba life. You don't need one more two for a year. And I see him. Yes, Brigadier General Wonyo life. Yes, when I hear life, when I see shake no day, shake no day. Now the Brigadier General Wonyo, so you don't hit him. What you don't stand for this, so what you don't stand for this. When I see him live video, we shake no day. Yes, confident one. Yes, and I see now Wonyo life. Wonyo, General Wonyo, Brigadier General Wonyo from Saba life. You don't need one more two for a year. And I see him. Yes, Brigadier General Wonyo life.
Okay. So you saw those the performance of our brave Bui Unity Warriors. We can always count on them to deliver when they are called upon to. When the moment arises, they always deliver. They never fail us. So we want to use this moment to extend our congratulations to the Bui Unity Warriors for standing tall, for making us proud, and we will always be there for them. We will always be here for them. We will always do whatever it is necessary to support them, to encourage them, to motivate them. We heard the General Wonyo himself recording, and that was a spectacular performance. You saw that there were two popcorns that dealt a blow with dealt some serious damage to La Republic of Cameroon, and they were just firing all over the place. Didn't know what they were doing, and they got some of them got out of the car or out of their cars after the first car was hit. They got out of their cars, and when they were on foot, they hit them yet again. I'm sure there's a lot of damage that has been done there, and that's what they will continue to receive as long as they continue to violate the territorial integrity of Ambazonia. That's exactly what they will continue to receive. There is no backing down. There is no giving up. We are here for the long haul, despite all the nonsense that they are spreading out there, saying, "Oh, Brazilian restoration fighters are giving up." Nobody is giving up. The only people who are giving up are the Atangi boys, who are being coerced now because they have no hiding place after they have exhausted all their thievery and criminality, and the population is going after them. They run and they go and stand there and say, "Oh, Amba fighters are giving up." Nobody is giving up. Any Amba fighter who gives himself up knows he's dead. You're dead. It's like pulling a trigger on your own head. So that's not happening. That's not happening. The war is very much on. It is still ongoing, and our people, our ARFs, are determined to fight it to the end because our very survival depends on it. So at this point, without any much waste of time, again, I would like to bring in my panel because we've wasted quite some time before the start of the show. So I would like to have my panel on. I don't know. Okay, I can see Chairman Patrick is on. I believe Ismail Gertrude is on as well. She was on at some point. Yes, she's right there. That's good. Like I said, unfortunately, Lima will not be able to join us for today's show. He may be able to join us some other time, but for today's show, he will not be able to join us. So I would like to give a moment to Ismail Gertrude to say welcome to our viewers, and followed by Chairman Patrick. Gertrude, over to you.
Thanks to everybody.
I don't know if okay, go ahead. I can hear you now.
Okay. Greetings to everybody. I'm just smiling because I'm looking at what the Bui boys have done. Those boys, I call them my boys. They are very dear to my heart. I like the way that they keep the fire on. We know that they are working very hard, and we should support them. We continue to support them in every way possible so that we can get to the promised land. So I wish to thank all of you. My name is Gertrude, Mama G. Some people call Mama G. I say Maji. But I'm here. I'm happy to be with you here today to talk a little about what is happening, what has happened, what is happening now, and what we should be looking forward to. Thank you so much.
Thank you there, Maji. I would like Chairman Patrick to do the same. Chairman Patrick, please say hello to our viewers.
Thank you so much, Comrade Mike. Thank you to fellow Ambazonians. And as you see, the Ambazonian restoration fighters are fighting till this moment, and they are not giving up. So it's time for every Ambazonian to wake up. You cannot start a fight and end halfway, or you cannot stop knowing that La Republique will eliminate every inch of our Ambazonian territory. We cannot do that. They are really giving us the hope that we need to fight and fight to the end. Again, thank you to fellow viewers. I know we're going to have a good show, and we're going to give out a lot of information about what is the way forward for the Ambazonian struggle. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Patrick. Thank you very much. We have quite a few topics to talk about, one of which is the fact that I'm sure many of you have watched a video of someone who is supposed to be a pastor or preacher, whatever he calls himself, who is in a church in La Republic of Cameroon, trying to stir up genocidal hatred against Ambazonians. You all watched that video. We are going to take a look at that video and then base our commentary on it. We are also going to take a look at the fact that when you look at the way Ambazonians are treated and compare it with the way La Republic of Cameroon citizens are treated by their military, you will realize that there's a marked difference. There's a marked difference in the way we are treated as compared to the way they are treated. We are going to look at a video of a young man who was fighting with a La Republic of Cameroon military on the streets in one of their towns, I think it's Bloa or somewhere down there. And this guy was able to even knock down the military officer, knock him down on his back. And nothing happened. The military man did not even as much as pull out a knife or a weapon. Compare that with the way our own citizens are treated. Then tell me if we are the same people. Now, and then the third topic, which is very important, is this much elusive unity or collaboration that we have been trying to have for quite some time now. People have made efforts. We've heard of conferences here, conferences there, negotiation here, negotiation there, but none of these efforts have materialized to be able to bring Ambazonians together to fight this war as one people. So we are going to take a look at that and ask ourselves, why? Why has this unity or collaboration been so elusive? Why is it so slippery that we can't get hold of? We are going to take a look at it. So, but first, like I said, the first topic I'd like for us to take a look at is this one of this La Republic of Cameroon so-called minister or pastor in a church. Before we comment on it, Margaret and Chairman Patrick, why don't we take a look at the video? Let's watch the video so that we have it in full context. What exactly is going on in that country and what we must be paying attention to? Because remember, why I decided to bring this is because this is exactly how Rwanda started. This is how Rwanda started. When you find people in the churches, when you find people in the media ginning up genocidal tendencies in the hearts of the civilians, then people go out and do terrible things. It is already happening. So let's watch that video of that so-called pastor in a church in La Republic of Cameroon, stirring up the population and encouraging them to hate people from the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. Let's take a look. I don't know if the audio is on. I don't know if it's just me.
Comment? De l'esprit anglophone. L'esprit anglophone comprend à gauche. Ce n'est pas une injure, c'est la vérité. Hein? Parce que c'est un esprit complexe comment? Comment là? Oui, ils sont complexés. Donc, ils estiment que on les marginalise. Voilà. Donc, c'est un mauvais esprit. Levez-vous. On met le feu sur l'esprit anglophone ici au Cameroun. Au nom de Jésus. L'esprit d'incompréhension. C'est l'esprit d'incompréhension. Ils ne comprennent pas comme il faut. Ils comprennent à l'envers. Au nom puissant de Jésus, esprit anglophone, je te coupe la tête. Au nom puissant de Jésus de Nazareth.
Wow. Ah,
Franchement, je ne sais pas pourquoi est-ce que cette église est toujours
Okay,
ouverte. Je ne sais
this
pas
is now a
pourquoi est-ce
commentary
qu'on
after
ne
the
ferme
video,
pas
but
cette
we have seen
église.
the video.
Cette
We have seen the
église
video, and
doit
this is one
être
of their
fermée
citizens.
le plus tôt possible.
This now we have seen the video ourselves, and this is really outrageous. It is unbelievable that that is supposed to be a church. It is supposed to be a church. And for all the years of my life, I have never gone into a church and saw a flag hanging at center stage of that church. Like you saw the flag, like Republic Cameroon flag, right in front of the church, a big flag. Now, I begin to wonder if this is a church or it's more of a political rally. Before I make my own comments there, I would like for Mama G, you kind of laugh there, which is we are laughing, but this could be something that will result in something really terrible. But I'd like for you to comment. What are your first impressions listening to? I don't know if you understand the colonial language, but I think
yeah,
the visuals don't tell the story. Mama G.
yeah. Thank you. I do understand some of what he's saying. I don't know. He says that we claim that we are being marginalized. And
Exactly.
then his prayer is that they should cut our heads off.
Mhm.
So if we are not marginalized, and that's what we are claiming, so for our punishment, our
We
heads
have to
should be
have
cut off.
cut off.
I don't I just don't understand um how I mean, for those people who are relenting at this time, I'm wondering, what country do you want to go back to? And when people say things like that overtly, all to hear, that our heads should be cut off, and as you see how they are coming and burning villages and killing people, what do you think is going to happen if we go back? So if things like this do not move people to say, I have to have my own country, that I'm working hard, I am going to make every effort, I'm going to do everything possible to make sure that we separate from these people. If you cannot do that, then there is really something wrong with you, because they've indicated if they had any remorse, if there was anything that they thought we could come back and work with them, you hear in their tone, they've never changed. They are even going and saying worse things. They are doing worse things to us, swearing on things that they'll do to us. And I don't know how anybody can even sleep after listening to a person like this.
Yeah, Mama G, as you rightly said, for those who think that this thing is a joke, I want you to listen to this guy again. I want you to listen to him and understand that these are the seeds of genocide being planted right there.
Yes.
These are the seeds of genocide being planted in the hearts of those who are supposed to be Christians, for Christ's sake. And you can
he's
see
saying
that,
it.
and he is saying it in public. Well,
Yes.
if he can say this in public, imagine what they are saying in private. If he can
Yes.
say this in a church, imagine what they are saying in their junkie houses, in their private homes, in their meeting houses. What are they saying there about us, about how we should be treated? This is supposed to be a church. I believe a Christian, a Christian church. Is this what Jesus will endorse? So, again, if they
Let
can say this,
me say this.
if it is not frightening to anybody listening to this man in a church saying this thing, if it doesn't send chills up your spine, then I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're thinking. Yes, I finished. You were trying to say something there, Margaret.
Yes, that man, he indicates, he shows his people like this that they should chop off
Yes,
the heads. And you see
yes.
all the members of that church going like this.
No,
Going,
they follow suit. They follow suit.
yes,
They follow
yes.
suit,
So
and they were
this is
imitating him.
exactly what, yes, this is
Yes.
exactly what you're saying. This is sowing the seeds of genocide. And he is showing people that this is how they should cut the necks, the heads, cut the heads of this Anglophone who think they are being marginalized. And he says if that's what they think, they should cut their heads. And he
Yes.
does that, and all the people in the church, including children, innocent children,
Yes.
are being brainwashed. Cut their heads, cut.
That is the danger of religion, because you are not supposed to question. You are supposed just to listen and believe and accept. So
Confirm.
when people go into that environment and the person who is supposed to be the religious leader tells them something, they are bound to follow it, rightly or wrongly. There are very few people in that environment who would question what the supposed leader or preacher is saying. Chairman Patrick, I want to hear your take on this thing here, because we have seen religion so abused in Africa in some really terrible ways. But I think it is getting to a really dangerous level. Chairman Patrick, your comments on this, please.
Yes, Chairman Mike, I will tell you, this is one of the most frustrating and irritating thing I've seen so far in this revolution, because they are now using the word of God. If you're a Christian, you see somebody who is holding the Bible, somebody who is supposed to be a moral educator of the people, is using hate speech and telling the people to kill others. That is exactly why you see La Republic is sending their young children to Amazonia, and the mentality they are giving them is they are all animals. Go down there and eliminate all of them.
And
Go
eliminate
down
them.
and kill them. They are thinking, they don't even think they are killing Cameroonians. They are killing people that they used to call Cameroonians. They know they are eliminating invaders, people who are occupying a piece of land that is not their land. Can you compare that to what Abdul Karim is going through in prison today? What did he do for La Republic to pick him up? If this country is not, if the people are not drunk with what their mentality is, what did Abdul Karim do for somebody to go pick him up, lock him for the number of months that he's been in prison? And a pastor will sit there and no one parishioner or Christian in that church will get up and say, Pastor, you are interpreting the Bible the wrong way. The people are even clapping and saying, Amen. Are they really talking about the same Jesus that we have all grown up to be more, to be stewards, to be good Christians, to be people who care about each other, to eliminate or to make sure there's no blood being spilled? But these people are saying,
and Chairman Patrick, what is very dangerous with this aspect is the fact that the mindset of our people, where the supposed religious people have been raised to a level of infallibility. That is, they can do no wrong. So whatever my man of God says is the truth. Whatever he says is right. Is right. That is why you could see in some areas where a pastor would tell the congregants to go out and eat grass, and they'll go out and start eating grass. Imagine.
We just saw that.
When this man tells them that it is okay to cut the heads of Amazonians and they are imitating it in church, you think when they go out there and they have an opportunity to do it, they won't do it? They are going to do it.
Chairman Mike, what you are seeing there is just exactly how they are preparing the young military guys leaving La Republic to go down to Amazonia to fight. They are telling them, when you get there, chop their head off. That is why they kill people at any time. They see people sitting in front of their homes. There was an incident in Gi. 2 women sitting there trying to share their rice for Christmas, And the military passed by and saw the lady sitting there doing their normal stuff. They did not care. They just say hello and walk away. The military came back 2 minutes later and killed those two women. Women did not have anything to do with any fight. So if you think anybody is thinking one day we are going to sit and say these are our neighbors or friends or anything, you are mistaken. These people want to clean that land. They want to kill every soul, and they are preparing their children, the young ones, because they're telling them when you go there, you see anybody, even if it's an innocent grandmother, just kill them. So it's horrible. You saw an incident in Kenya recently where a pastor told the parishioners that we're getting to the end of the world. There were 190 something people that went on a hunger strike so that they can go ahead and die early and get the best place next to God. Because the pastor said that. And they all died. People died in their hundreds. So you can understand what this mentality is being on these young people to go down to Amazonia, telling them, and you will see it has happened in their streets. People who ran away from Amazonia, went to Yaoundé and all those places, have been killed on the streets. It's just because they hide everything. And this is just about to get to that point. Even those who call themselves elites, they are ministers, they are this, they are going to be lynched on the streets of Yaoundé one day. Because when these people understand that,
and when we see these things, Chairman Patrick, when we see these things, we can begin to imagine what even those IDPs who are hiding in their territory, what they are going through. You can imagine what they are going through. And the point is when you see their soldiers come into Amazonia and they go to a place like Ngabu and they see pregnant women, children, and they decide to slaughter them and bury them in a mass grave. You can now understand where that is coming from. They have been indoctrinated into seeing us as less of human beings. They don't see us as equals. They see us as things that should be gotten rid of. So when you see all these massacres in Big Babanki, in Bello, in Bali, in Santa, when you see all these things, Kwakwa, when you see all these things happening, you can now understand where it's coming from. That is what they are being told. And then when you couple with the fact that nobody is ever held accountable, the government, their government has never prosecuted anybody for doing anything, for committing any of these genocidal acts on Amazonians. So the rest see it as, oh, it's okay to do it because you will not be held accountable. So, Mike Gertrude, I want you just to take, make a statement on this, and then reference it to all these terrible acts of violence, extreme brutality that we see being meted on our people over and over and over. And then when you see a pastor saying this thing, I think it just adds up. It explains everything, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Let me, this gives me an opportunity to tell you what I heard today. There's a lady who is a teacher back home, and she sent this audio where she's explaining how the Germans used to pay teachers, and now these people have taken over the mission schools, and they are the ones paying, and then they refuse to pay and had the churches pay, and they give the churches some subvention, which was not enough. And then right now what they are saying is that they want the government wants to be paying or hiring. The government wants to hire teachers for mission schools. And that means that there's not going to be mission schools. There are going to be government schools. They'll be paying those people. They're going to relieve all the teachers of their duties, and then bring in their own teachers. And so people will be retired when they've not gotten to retirement age. And one of the problems that we had, which started this revolt, was because of the educational system that they had. They brought in francophones, French-speaking people, who were teaching our children subject matter, not teaching them French, but teaching like geography and history in French when the children did not have mastery of the language. So that's the new thing that they've done. And then they're saying by the end of this year, they would have scrapped everything that we do. They bring in their own people, they hire them, and there's not going to be religious studies, which is one of the things that we insist that we have in our schools, so that to give our children some moral upbringing, some moral knowledge. So this thing is happening. You see it in the church. When the churches start preaching like this, and the churches start letting the government take over schools, it is just the way that they continue to break down, to destroy everything that we have. And when this war started,
may I get you, just because we have to transition to the next topic, I just want to add to what you are saying, that they are doing to our schools what they have done to our traditional institutions.
That's right.
They came in and they started by saying, oh, we want to make the traditional leaders auxiliaries of the administration. They started giving them some stipends. And before you know it, the traditional leaders were now loyal to them, doing their bidding, because you had to align in order to get the small paycheck. That is exactly what is happening. They are buying all our institutions, destroying everything, and preparing us for the eventual French Cameroon complete. Because I'm telling you, there will come a time when English will be outlawed. You will not be English will no longer be one of the official languages. You have to be able to speak French only. That is what is going to happen if we should fail with this effort to restore our independence. There'll come a time. That's why you see predominantly all these bilingual schools were in our territory. How many bilingual schools did you see in French Cameroon? They were in our territory for a reason, to prepare us for the eventual transition to French language only. So, not to belabor the point, I think Ambazonians you have watched this video, you have heard what this pastor is saying. If that does not frighten you, then I don't know what you're thinking. But there's another video where a citizen of La République du Cameroon, a young man, was fighting with one of their soldiers on the street. And I looked at that video and I said to myself, wow, this is a citizen, an ordinary citizen, going face to face with a soldier of La République du Cameroon and even knocking him down. And the soldier did not dare to shoot at him. Why? Because he saw him like one of his. That was his own citizen, his own brother. Can you imagine that happening in the southern Cameroon? Can you imagine that? Where a queen mother in her palace will be killed and burnt to ashes for no good reason. But in La République du Cameroon, their citizens will fight with their soldiers face to face, and nothing will happen to them. And you tell me we're in the same country? No, we are not in the same country. But let us watch the video first before we go ahead with the analyzing it. Okay, so you saw it there, Chairman Patrick and Maji. That is in Laraburu, Cameroon. That is a pleasure they have, that they have a pleasure that they can stand there and fight a military officer without being afraid that they will be shot to death. It happens there. Can you imagine that happening in Kumba? Can you imagine that happening in Manfe, in Lebialem, in Kumbo? Can that happen in Bamenda? Can that happen in Womb? Can that happen? and you still walk away with your life? So, Baraji, what do you think about it?
Well, I mean, you see who the privileged class are. And this is in Yaoundé. You hear them speaking the language. These are the privileged ones. And you compare it to the pastor who is saying they should cut off the heads. And he's really demonstrating. Like I was saying, the reason that you saw them killing us and burning our villages was so that they can implant their people in there to take all our land and take us over. And this is how they treat us. So if there's anybody in our midst who thinks that there's still hope, that there's a way that we can work with the French-speaking Cameroon and be one again, you really have to be thinking. You really are in the wrong skin. You really have the wrong brain. If you think that we can come back with these people who look at us as if we are monkeys, they knock on people's doors, they get in, they kill the children, and the children are running, or they see children playing a football at the back of their house or playing draft in the front of the house, and they shoot them for no cause. And then one of them is having sports. It's like sports, fighting with an army and knocking him down, and people are cheering and looking and then coming and begging that they should stop. Would this happen in Amenda? Would this happen in Kumba or Boya? Would this happen in Campbell, like you said? No, it could not. Because they would just...
That is exactly what we should understand. We are not in the same country. We are not the same people. You see, this young man knocked him down, and he did not even dare to take out any weapon, even a knife, not even a knife, to defend himself. He wanted to depend on his fist, which he did not have. He was not that good at. And this young man was beating the hell out of him. But this young man walked away with his life intact. I can just imagine all the brutality that our young men have been going through from these brutes from French Cameroon, for no reason, for even just daring to be alive. That is the problem. That's the difference, Chairman Patrick. I don't know what are we supposed to do to make our people understand this, especially the enablers who keeps believing that there is something to gain by us being with La Republique Cameroon. And they themselves, you need to see how some of them are humiliated when they are walking the corridors or the streets of Yaoundé. But they hide it. They hide it because they're begging for crumbs. What do you have to say to our people to understand this, Chairman Patrick?
Well, Chairman Mike, I think some of this is really like a wake-up call to our people to understand exactly why we are staying away from these people. In southern Cameroon, if you dare tell a Republic military guy that you do not have your ID card with you, you are shot dead. There was an incident recently in Bamenda. This university student, Bamenda University student, they were sitting in a bar drinking. The military came in there, started asking everybody's ID card. This guy thought he was a university, he was a PhD student at the University of Bamenda. He got up and said, "Sir, you don't have to harass people sitting down drinking, asking for the ID card." The only thing he did was pull out his gun and shot him. This guy was buried. Nothing happened. So you can just see the difference. I still do not understand how some Southern Cameroonians, and I would say very soon, I'm going to make it a point. If you are not for this revolution, if you are not supporting, if you are not seeing the injustice on your own brothers and sisters, your parents, your land, the place where you were born, if you do not see that, you don't come around me, because this is humiliating. I always say this, the last time I was, no, it was not even the last time I was in that country. I was leaving Bamenda going down to the southwest, and they stopped me. I was with my kids, and they said, "Oh, they wanted to see this." I showed them everything. The moment the guy saw my ID card, he said, "Oh, this." He thought I did not understand a single word in French. He said, "Oh, this one is from America. We're going to get 20,000 francs from him. That's about, let's say, $40. That guy kept me on the road for 3 hours. I said, "Look, it's getting dark. I have to take my children to go get some rest." They did not care. As long as I was speaking English, they did not care. Until they ended up taking 2,000 francs, which is about $4. And that's how they would let me go, because I told them I'm not giving them money. I don't see why you're keeping me on the road. The way they treat, even these people call themselves senators, they call themselves directors and all this. You can see how they put their tails behind their legs when they seize La Republique military. How can you be honoring somebody who doesn't even respect your right?
That is funny. You know, our comrade Bridget right here, one guy was killed in Kumba a few weeks ago because he only asked for a warrant of arrest before arresting him. This guy, they came to arrest this guy, and he asked for a warrant of arrest, which is your civic right. It is your civic right. And what did they do? They shot him to death. Says, how dare you ask for a warrant of arrest from a God? How dare you ask for a warrant of arrest? And for that, they had to kill him. And was there any consequence for it? No. You're just, your life is disposable. And this is the plight the plight of our people. And when we are crying out here, and some people are just behaving as though we are just complaining or just whining for no reason. These are blatant examples of discrimination, subjugation, marginalization, just making some people feel like they don't exist, they don't matter, their lives don't mean anything. You can take it at any time you want and go free. After Ngabu, we were told that, oh, those who committed it had been arrested. Have we ever heard of any sentence or any consequence for them? None. So, Chairman Patrick, you wanted to say something.
Let me just say one thing here. This war has been going on for 7 years. Have you ever heard that there was a mistake somewhere in the northern zone or southern zone of southern Cameroon where Francophone family was eliminated or killed by mistake? Have you ever heard that any single Francophone has been shot dead by mistake by the Cameroonian military? How do they know all their citizens? These people, when you speak French, you have the right to live in Cameroon.
Yes.
You have the right to live.
And mind you, a lot of their citizens are the informants themselves. They are auxiliaries of the military. A lot of their citizens are auxiliaries of the military. They are the ones telling the military where to go and attack and who to attack. So that is why they don't get killed themselves. Because I have asked over and over again, is it that the bullets have eyes? The bullets can hear? Why is it that they cannot, for over 7 years now, not even by mistake, have they killed one of theirs? It is always our own citizens. Even in the cities, it is only our own citizens. How is that happening?
So one thing I will say before, maybe I can still call you in the back. After this, that video from that pastor, we need to get somebody who can translate that, because I did not really understand what he was saying, who can make a word-to-word translation, because we have to do that. To circulate that everywhere. When we have to do that. When the genocide was happening in Rwanda, you could hear, you could see people standing in churches and others say, go and kill the cockroaches, go and kill this. That is the same language they have used on our people. But some people don't see that these people, their goal is not to fight, to restore any peace. They just want to eliminate every single Amazonian so that they can own that land. But the good thing is, they are mistaken. This is never going to go anywhere. If they had brains, if they had anybody that have studied a little bit of conflict resolution, they will understand no war. Even the US fought with Afghanistan, fought with Iraq. They ended up negotiating. Every war has ended up in a negotiation. But when you treat people, when you go burn people's homes, kill their relatives, kill their children, and destroy their land, even if this war ends tomorrow, I will tell you, we are going to raise money. We are going to use any weapon to make sure that the public pays to the last core of what they have done to our people. We are going to fight them to the last core. Every part of La Republic is going to be in ruin. If we are rebuilding in Amazonia, they will be rebuilding in their own territory. That is not.
Thank you, Chairman Patrick. And just to say one more thing about this pastor, this is the kind of person who is, the Bible will accuse him of guilty of blasphemy, calling God's name in vain. And the Bible, I think the Bible prescribes that for those who will cause one of mine, the little ones, to stumble, because that is what this man is doing. He is completely leading those in that church into the hellfire by indoctrinating them. And the Bible says, for those who will cause one of these little ones to stumble, it were better that a large stone be tied around his neck and that he is dropped in the deepest part of the ocean. I believe that's what the Bible says. So these are people who have no business being religious leaders. This is not a religious leader. This is a pure hypocrite. A hypocrite, guilty of blasphemy, calling God's name in vain when there's no God in his heart. There's no God in his heart. Or else he will not be saying the things he is saying there. Encouraging these people to go out and cut the heads of Amazonians. That's what he is doing. And what is the so-called country doing? Political leaders, religious leaders, the enablers from Southern Cameroon. Are you going to hear any of them come out and say anything about it? No. The other hypocrites like Funky somewhere, who another blasphemer, who calls God's name in vain. I saw him sprinkling money the other day, but money that is taken from poor people, spends it on himself. None of them will come out and say anything. If someone says such outrageous things, you will not hear the Catholic Church come out and say anything. But let them see a resurrection fighter make one small mistake. Everybody want to, they will be tripping over each other to condemn him. We are watching you. We are watching all of these people. We are watching them.
Chairman, one thing that you saw, Prince Afuakum, who tried to say something, but he could not speak the truth. He could not come out clearly to say, look at what these people are doing to our people. He was calling on the chiefs because he was touched. That is why every single Amazonian who think this is Wuna war will one day get up and do, because when they touch you to the core, you are going to get up and start asking the same questions. I'm sure before Afuakum left that chair, he was already urinating in his pants because he was trying to speak the truth, but it could not come out because he was so scared of speaking the truth. And that is exactly some of these enablers in La Republique who think they are ministers, they are this. One day I have asked this question. I don't think he's a minister of territorial administration. We grew up in that part of the world. When was the last time he made an appointment of a duo or a governor as the minister of territorial administration? They take you and put you there just because they want to think they are trying to blindfold your people. I'm sorry, they have made those mistakes so many years. They have promised us so many times, but we don't need anything from them. Give us our territory, give us 5 years. Your citizens will be running to Southern Cameroon to go find ways to find jobs, even food to eat.
I'm talking about Afuakom. When I listened to Afuakom, I almost felt sorry for him. You know, I felt sorry for him. He knows what the truth is. He knows what the truth is, but he's afraid to say it because he knows what it means. It's like committing a suicide if we should utter the wrong word in that outing. Even what he said was dangerous enough. And he said, I was given a what medal was that? And it reminded me of the old man and the medal, because they take these things and they put on your chest and they give you the false impression of importance. And you go away and you are still the same person. You have not changed just because of a piece of metal that was put on your chest. It makes you feel that you are somebody. You are nothing. Your people are dying. Your people are being slaughtered. Queen Mother burnt in her palace. And then you sit there and talk about, you're calling on the elites to speak up. You want the elites to speak up. And that's just a painful exercise, because whatever he said there wouldn't change a damn thing. Because just as much as he was afraid for his life, the same people he is calling on them to speak up, the funds and the chiefs, they too are afraid for their lives. Nobody's going to speak up, and he knows it. So it was just a self-aggrandizing exercise that Afuakom engaged in. It's not going to yield any benefit. And you know it because of the structure of whatever government you have there cannot allow for any justice to be applied. No justice is going to come. So this was just a waste of time. Whatever Afuakom said there, I feel sorry for him. He ought to do the right thing, because no fund, no chief, no elite is going to stand up to say anything. None. Because they know that if you say the wrong thing, you are going to Kondengi, or worse, you are going 6 feet under. And that is why we are saying we are sick and tired of staying under this system. We are sick and tired of staying under this system. And we are determined to make sure things change. Nonsense. So let's go to something else that concerns us and our ability to do the right thing to make sure that we achieve our freedom. For quite some time now, we have seen so many initiatives at bringing Ambazonians together so that together we can push this war effort to a level. So we have seen these initiatives, but none of them has come to fruition yet. So I want us to take a look at what we have done this far. Why has this effort at unity or even just collaboration, why has it been so elusive? Why have we not been able to succeed in this effort to bring Ambazonians together so that we hold hands together? They say a bundle of brooms You take one out, you can easily break it. But if you put the bundle of broom together and you are told to break it, you cannot break it, because unity is strength. We have been told this over and over and over, that if you want to succeed, come together, put your resources together, put your ideas together, and you will succeed. That is how others did it. But for some reason, we have not been able to do it. So my question to you, I don't know if Mama G is there. Mama G,
Yes.
what is our problem? Why has it been so difficult for Ambazonians to come together? What is the problem? Don't we love ourselves? Don't we value the country that is ours? Don't we see these injustices against our people? Is the killing of our people not painful enough? Is the suffering of our people not painful enough? Don't we feel for those who are languishing in the dungeons of La Republic Cameroon? Doesn't that touch us? Why are we so hard-hearted that we cannot come together for this singular reason, which is to liberate our homeland? What is the problem?
Yeah, Comrade Mike, the problems are so many. Like you said before, you see our parliamentarians are in the La Republic government. They have worked so hard, they've bought, and I'll call them indulgences, to be in the position where they are. And they are so afraid that if we embrace this new thing coming, I'm not going to be in this position again. They are going to bring more competent people to take over. So I'm lucky to be a minister or a parliamentarian when I don't have the qualifications, when I don't even know what I'm doing there. I just
Marjorie, when I'm even talking about us coming together, I'm not even thinking about those people. I'm
just using that. No, I'm using that as an example.
Okay.
Just
all right.
So the problem now is that with us, Ambazonians, we have many of us have been able to rally people around us, and we are the head of our own little organization. And so people are so afraid that if we come together, they might minimize them. They will. I don't have many people. If there were to be a vote, maybe somebody who has more people will become the president, and I will not. Maybe this person will have some authority over me, and I'm looking out for myself. I feel that people are looking out for themselves instead of looking out for the people. This is the people's fight. The people who are on the ground are the ones suffering. It is not for us. How many people here are going to be willing to go home and work with the people back home? It is a selfish thing that I think that is bothering us, that people want to be seen. Everybody's voice, everybody wants their voice to be heard. We used to have a governing council, and I think that was the best thing that happened, because we had every leader as an entity, and they came together and discussed. If we can please my people, please forget of our own personal egos and think of what we had, and let's come back with that model where it is not like anybody is taking away your power or for you to lead your people. We are coming for a purpose. We know what we want to have, and let everybody bring in what they have to offer. Let us sit together at a round table, not a long table where there's a head and a tail. Let's sit at a round table so that even those people who have 5,000 people on their team, and the people who have 10,000, and the people who have 1,000 or 100, as long as you're a leader, as long as you are a leader, you will be given a voice. Please let us come and sit at a round table. And as I said, the importance of a round table is that there's not going to be a head. There's not going to be a person who is going to lead. We will come and put our resources, our knowledge. There's no one person who knows more than everybody. But when we come together, we bring all our ideas, we work little by little, then we can beat La Republique, because La Republique keeps saying that, oh, you're asking us to negotiate. Who am I going to negotiate with? These people are not united. No, we can come together. But what I'm saying, we're not asking people to take off their cloak. You are a leader in your own organization. But as an Ambazonian, let's have a body, something, whatever name they call it. But I always go back to the governing council, because that is something that people can understand. It's something that we did before. If we have everybody on the table and then people bring the ideas, we are working with ideas, not with individuals. Regardless of how many people you have, let's talk like brothers and sisters. Let's come up with ideas how we want to build our own country. We will have a united front. Then we can sit now with La Republique on the table and that's what we want.
Yeah, like Riley said there, Mamaji, I think the main issue here is when people are not willing to be selfless in their sacrifice for this struggle. When people put their self-interest ahead of the interest of the people or the country or the nation, that is when your own priorities are not aligned with the priorities of the nation of Ambazonia. That is right. What happens. That is exactly the problem, because when somebody says, that is how our people are being treated. But when somebody looks at that and says, no, it must be me, Boya. I am the only one. It has to be me. And you see our people being molested like this, treated like this every day. And these people are not willing to say, okay, maybe I should allow my own self-interest to go below the interest of the nation, making sure that we are fighting for Ambazonia, not for some personal or some leader, some say, oh, God-ordained leader. That's what some people call themselves, God-ordained leader. And you see our people going through such torments every day, and it doesn't mean a damn thing to these people. It doesn't mean a damn thing to them. When you tell them, come and let's sit down and see how we can put our heads together, put our resources together, they say, okay, if we have to come and sit down and talk, you have to align, you have to stand behind me. I must be at the head. Then you stand under me. That is the main problem there. So I don't know, Chairman Patrick, is the diagnosis here wrong? Is the problem not that of us not being true patriots, or at least those who have, most of those who have risen to the level of leadership are not true patriots? You see what they're doing here? They go into a community, they're harassing people, they are eating whatever they're eating there, and making fun of us. And then you find people even in that very community betraying their own brothers and sisters to these invading criminals. Most of these guys are prisoners that have been taken from the prisons and sent to our homeland. But let's not get off of the topic. Chairman Patrick, what is
Chairman Mike, you are
the fact that we have not been able to come together? What is at the base of this problem?
Chairman Mike, I think you are exactly on point, based on the fact that people are not selfless in this revolution. I think we've gotten to that point where every single Ambazonia who was determined and who is still determined to see that we prosecute this revolution to the end, to reflect on what they have all done and ask themselves, what What can I give up in order for us to go to the finish line of this struggle? People should not think that if you are not a leader, you are not a non-Ambazonian. At the end of the day, if we stay divided, we add more time to the final destination. But the moment we come together, we are going to get to Boya at the fastest possible time. Look at what is going on. We've heard from somebody like Thibault Nash so many times talking about Ambazonians must unite. And I would tell you, I've seen 2 or 3 important get together organized by international community, calling all the leaders to come. These are people who are not being paid. We don't even have the money to pay for a lobbyist. But these guys are doing things that La Republic is paying billions to lobbyists in this country to do for them. They are telling us, you guys come together, let's talk as one person so that we can be able to move this at a faster pace to get to the final destination, but nobody is coming. So at this point, we have to start looking. The Ambazonian people should be asking questions as to who is really a revolutionary, what are they trying to accomplish, what do they want to do? If you see the way La Republic is doing to our people on the ground, and you do not want to be selfless, say, I want to move this revolution to the final stop, then you are not for this revolution. I don't want any position. That's the mentality everybody should have. I want to see us get there faster than we have ever thought. We can do this. We can really do this. If everybody is willing to come back and reconcile, forgive each other. We know there have been so many wounds that have been created. We know there are people who have been insulted, but understand that if you do not forget and forgive sometime, you are not going anywhere, because you are going to be carrying a big load on your head, which is going to weigh you down, create anger in you, that you will not even look at your brother or sister and say, we are fighting this together. And talking about this, I would say, if anybody sitting out here get up any day and call a fighter on the ground and say, go and take over this camp or go and take over these other fighters, you are not for this revolution, because every single fighter in this revolution who is fighting for Ambazonia is very, very important. It doesn't matter who they are fighting for and who they are fighting with. They are very important because they are doing their own little part to move the steps forward to the final destination of this.
John Patrick, we have seen several initiatives that were attempts at bringing Ambazonians together. Of course, it started with the Swiss initiative, where some members bought into the idea, and they were sitting there and trying to negotiate, waiting for La Republic Cameroon to show up for this supposed negotiation, or at least they were being prepared for the negotiation. And not everybody was in there. Some people decided to back out of it, and then came to Canada, and some people rushed to Canada without the necessary preparations, and again, the effort did not quite materialize into anything, because again, the problem was some members thought that they had to lead the initiative, and they were choosing those who had to be there, and so on. And then that initiative failed. Then since then, we have had these attempts at holding conferences. We've had AAC, we have had Unity Conference, we have had the other conferences planned, but none of them has really materialized. And when you look at the problem that has plagued these attempts at coming together, it is the fact that some people feel that if there is a coming together, it has to be, they have to be at the helm of the organization. It has to be something that they are spearheading, or the idea has to come from them. So when some other person proposes the idea, they tend to reject it and they don't want to be part of it. But there have also been the call for all these ideas, all these conferences that were supposed to be held, to come together and hold one conference so that everybody comes together and the planning is done together so that nobody will have any reason to feel left out. But some people who still have this tendency that if there's a coming together, they should be the ones deciding or dictating how things are done. They don't feel comfortable about this idea, despite the fact that this seems to be the most democratic way of bringing Amazonians together. So, Mama G, you know a little bit about these efforts, these initiatives. You have been part of some of them, and they have not quite materialized just because Amazonians have a tendency of coming into meetings with personal agendas and projects which they want to push through. So how do we break this vicious cycle to get to a point where Amazonians are willing to simply come into a room and meet their fellow comrades with an open mind, ready to present their ideas for how Amazonians can truly collaborate for the sole purpose of liberating Amazonia, not exalting any single individual, which is the problem we have had all this while, because people come into an initiative with the sole purpose of exalting themselves to the helm of that initiative. They are not there to contribute their ideas to the liberation of their homeland, but to see if they can be exalted to the helm of that initiative. How do we overcome this vicious cycle that is causing us to lose many more people on the ground?
Chairman Mike, this is a difficult thing, but it's something that is doable. All these things that we are saying today, we started by explaining, showing the people who are being killed, or showing the boys fighting so hard. We talked about the preachers. These are the things that go to appeal to people's conscience. Let your conscience be your judge. You see people suffering on the ground. You see what is happening. You have your eyes on the prize. We all know what we want. So let me take this opportunity to appeal to all the groups. Nobody wants you to lose your group. How important you are to your group is for you and the members of your group. We just need to sit, like I have said, at a round table, like we had the governing council, where every individual is important. Can we please accept to do that? I will be calling on some leaders and begging them that we should have a conference, a unity conference, where we are going to have everybody sit around and bring their ideas. If it means 2 people from opposite side meeting before, then we bring in more people. Immediately we can put a small group together. We will start meeting so that others can see that it is not something to take away your status. It is to bring everybody together. The more people we can bring together, the more it's going to be better for us, because we can go now to La Republique or to any international organization that is willing to assist us and say, yes, here we are. We have a group we have members of all the Amazonian groups ready to sit and talk with you. We can at least decide what we want. before we go to La Republique. We cannot just go to La Republique. You are going with your own agenda. This group is going with their own agenda. We need to have a unity conference. We need to come together and decide what it is that is going to be suitable for all of us. It is not for your group, because if your group, like I keep telling people, if anybody wins, if somebody decides that it's my own group and nobody else which is going to win, when we get that independence, there is no way, there's no mechanism you're going to have to keep away the others. Everybody will come. Why do you want to suffer yourself for something that everybody will eventually benefit? There's no way you can do it that is going to be exclusively you and your own group who are going to benefit. So please, I'm begging on our people, the leaders of all the groups, please let us come together and see what is a common, to the commonality that we have, the benefit that is going to have everybody. When we have come together, then we can start having politics, whether it's we become different political groups, and then we go out and campaign and people vote for us. It's not going to be, I don't think that after all this enlightenment that we have here, we are going to think that we will rush in and become president and rule over people. No, you're going to
that is the challenge right there, Margaret. We are wishing that everybody can be as simplistic and as patriotic. But there are people who have put it in their minds that if Ambazonian has to be free, it has to be free with them as president. You know them. We are not here to call names, but there are people who have it in their minds that if Ambazonian has to be free, it has to be free with them as the leaders. If they are not a leader, then the people must suffer. Then how different are you from La Republique Cameroon? How different are you? Because we have seen all these initiatives, and there are people right now who are saying, "Oh, we have this collaborative platform. Just come and let's just come and join us." But you ask them, but what are the modalities for coming together? What rules have you put in place for this coming together? We are coming together towards what purpose? And you cannot understand. And you say, okay, let's open the door and allow people to come in, and we sit down and decide on the modalities of the conference, how the conference will be run. Because, fellow ambassadors, when we talk of modalities, those are the rules that will guide the conference. If you have the wrong rules for the conference, the outcome would not be right. So in order for people to participate in the conference, they need to be part of drawing up the rules of the conference, how the conference will be run, what outcomes are anticipated at the end of the conference. The people taking part should be part of drawing up those modalities. You can't just sit there and draw up your modalities and they just say, come and join us. You have already decided on what direction you are going on your journey and telling somebody to come and join you when that person does not know. And these people give the false impression that others are not willing to join them, but that is not the truth. So the thing is, first of all, for people to humble themselves. No one should start seeing themselves as the Ambazonian leader. We don't have any leader for Ambazonia yet. We just have revolutionary leaders who are fighting to make sure that we free our homeland. Then the Ambazonian people will choose who their leader is. That is the way it ought to be. We should not get to Boya with a pre-made leader, with a ready-made leader. That is not the way it's supposed to be. When we get to Boya, the people will choose who their leader is. Chairman Patrick, am I saying it wrong? Isn't that the way it's supposed to be? I don't know if Chairman Patrick is there. If not, maybe Chairman Patrick may be a bit distracted. Okay, he's back now. I think your audio is off.
Can you hear me?
Yes, good. The 5 on 5.
All right. So that is exactly what all the leaders of Amazonia should have had in their mind from the onset when they started this revolution, because at the end of the day, we are those who are living out of the country, living abroad, should already have something to do with their lives. They are all professional. They should all be professionals. They should all have a livelihood that is maybe 10 or 15 or 20% better than those who are living in that country. So the reason for this revolution is for all the Amazonians out here to help, who call themselves leaders, to help those who are back there regain this independence. And we are just advisors to say, this is how we are supposed to move on. The people on the ground, how many people are out of the country? We are maybe like 2% or 3%. The population is down there. They will decide who they think can lead Amazonia, and if the leader thinks some of the diaspora leaders or those who are in their diaspora can come out and bring some of their knowledge into Amazonia, that is how it's supposed to work. But those who think they want to fight the revolution to the end and become ministers and become president in Amazonia, that is the reason that they are destroying what we are fighting for, because they are now trying to stand on the way of any unity, anything that is going to make them reduce the power or the influence that they have over some of their surrogates. But I would say at the end of the day, every Amazonia is going to come together one way or the other. When people now speak to Amazonia, the only thing every Amazonia should be listening to is, that guy have said so many times, I'm just a messenger. If you are knowledgeable enough, you should be asking yourself, but who is this guy being a messenger for? This guy is being sent. He is more of like a consultant. He's not asking for a dime from the Amazonian people. But you hear him every day coming to help us, educate us. He goes to all the Amazonian platforms to talk to Amazonians. Everybody should be picking up the language of diplomat, which is telling us that the international community wants to help you, but they do not want to help you to go start another Somalia-style government where you get down there and everybody want to be a leader. Look at what is going on in Sudan today. These are the people who kicked out a dictator. They put a small transitional government that was led by a civilian. They still kick him out. But they were the two top generals, which were something like the B and the regular military in Sudan. But when they got there, they've taken power. They agreed that they were going to have a shared government until they do the transition. Now, because of the ego, they are all fighting. Who is losing? The population is all running away. People are leaving Sudan in droves. So let La Republique learn from what is going on in Sudan, because I even read an article maybe last week from a foreign institute article about what is going on in Sudan will repeat itself in La Republique, because when Amazonia is gone, 2 or 3 generals within the Amazonian structure will want to share that piece of garbage that they call a country. And that is how they're going to be fighting. South Sudan is now a country, even though they are struggling to keep their acts together, but they are a little bit peaceful. They have all come together, realize that our country will be better off if we are not fighting. But look at South Sudan, the other part of Sudan, they are fighting, killing every other. The country is going to be in ruin. Even if tomorrow,
I think, General Party, what you're saying there, one other thing that I want us to take a look at is that the reason why we seem to be we seem to find it so difficult to do what is right for our country is our lack of understanding of what leadership is all about. There's a fundamental difference in our understanding of who a leader is on the African continent as compared to the Western world. Because you look at the Western world, every leader who comes in is trying to do something to leave a legacy for himself when he leaves power. He's trying to do something to say, when he leaves, the people should say, this is what this president did. But it is not the same with us. It is not the same with us. It's not the same with us. Because you look at the way Bobia is there, he doesn't care about the legacy he's going to leave behind. He doesn't care. Look at the other dictators, Sassou Nguesso, or the other dictators around. They don't care about the legacy. They just want to be there. You have people are cursing you every day. You don't care. You don't care about the suffering of your people. But look at in the West, even the world leader wants to show that I did this. I did this. This is what I was able to accomplish. I was able to give healthcare to my people. I was able to make the economy. The economy was this good when I left office. That is what other leaders strive to do. Our leaders don't do that, and that is the problem we have. And until we start having a better understanding, people like the Sankaras and the Patrice Lumumbas and Nelson Mandelas and Martin Luther Kings and others, they are very rare, far apart, and you don't come, the John Macafulis, you don't find them too many these days, but there are a few still out there. But most, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, do not understand what it means to be a leader. Many people think that in order to be a leader, it means you have to be there and people worship you and adore you and praise you for every little thing that you do, and that nobody can challenge you. That is what they think. So I don't know how we start by educating. How do we educate our people to get out of this market? How do we educate our people? We are coming to the end of the program, but how do we educate our people to understand that? And our civilians are not different anyway. They think that when somebody is a leader, you have to bow down and worship them. That is not what it is supposed to be. A leader is not someone you just have to worship and accept everything they do. So how do we enlighten our people to understand this?
Well, everybody is talking. I'm happy that there are a few African leaders who are speaking out and talking about what Africa should be, how we should stand on our own, telling the West that they cannot continue to control us. If we can learn from that, if we can continue to listen, if these people are talking and we are listening, it should make an impression on us. We are also going to appeal to our own people. We are going to ask our people that let us come together. Unity is strength. There's a saying that unity is strength. If we agree to that, we have to explain to our people that we want to be collaborating. We are not going to take the power and give it to one person. It is a collaborative platform. It's a collaborative work. It is what we have experienced. We tried it before, and that's my anger, because we had the kind of government in this Amazonia that we had all the groups standing on their own feet, identifying themselves and working, and everybody was able to express what it is that they could do. People took responsibilities based on their ability. So when there was a governing council, there was not this problem. I don't know how that system was switched to this government that we are in today that is causing all these problems. If we can appeal to our people and say the governing council works, people are really talking about it. That was a collaborative platform that everybody came with their own strength, with their own ideas, and those ideas were placed on the table, and then people did work based on that. Please, if we can just work on that, if we can listen, there are so many examples of things that are working, that we see how African leaders now are saying, I may be good for my own country, but me alone, I cannot do anything. Let the Africans join. Let's have an African unity. If African leaders are asking for African unity, why can Ambazonian leaders not ask for unity? The kind of unity that means we are collaborating with each other, but we are not giving away our powers. When the time comes for power, whether we decide to share power, whether we decide to do an election, whatever we do at that time, we will never get to that point where you will show your ability. If we sit here and continue to fight, to be individualistic, to say that my own opinions, my own ideas are they are superior to everyone else's, and therefore I cannot listen to anybody. That's a mistake that we are doing, that our forefathers have done, and our forefathers have realized that. Our leaders today have realized that, and they are coming together. Why can we Ambazonians not learn from what is happening in the African continent today? So please, I'm appealing to all the leaders that you need to work with us. We need to work together for unity. And this unity is a unity of purpose, that we know what it is that we want to do. And therefore, we have to start work collaborating. We have to have a conference. We can have little conferences, and people come up with ideas that when we have a big conference, this is what we are going to discuss. So we bring all these things and bring these things, so there we can have an agenda. We can have an agenda where when we go to the final meeting, we put it, and everybody will feel comfortable that their voices count, that their voices were heard. We need every voice. It doesn't matter whether you have 2 people behind you or you have 1 million people behind you. The important thing are ideas. We cannot go against La Republique without putting our ideas on the table, without putting them together. We need to collaborate with each other. Please, let us work towards that.
Oh, thank you. G. I hope that those that matter are listening. If we could just put aside our egos, our pet projects, and just project Ambazonia first, put Ambazonia up on a platform, and so everyone would be looking at Ambazonia instead of looking at their pet project. If we can do that, I think coming together and working together, making sure that we achieve this freedom is very, very doable. It is very doable. The only thing that is keeping us or slowing us down is the fact that we are not working together. So again, I would like to pass to get Chairman Patrick's own last word there, and then we'll see. That should be it for the day. Chairman Patrick, your own last word, please.
Well, thank you so much, Comrade Mike. I know I was a little distracted. I'm still at work. I should be getting out here in a few minutes. But
it's understood. It's understood.
I would tell you, this is the moment for every so-called stakeholder in Ambazonia to pick up their phone. It's not an expectation for any single individual to do it. If you have that open mind, let's call each other. let's reflect on what we want to accomplish. Tell your brother, tell the other leader, this is the moment for us to sit in the same room and set the foundation for this country that we want to build. We cannot have this level of ego and expect to build a country that is not going to be corrupt, or build a country and bring people around us that will want to use us as the scapegoat and become like what we're seeing in La Republique. The so-called president of La Republique doesn't have any clue what is going on in that country today. But the people around him are getting what they want. The people are making sure the war continues so that the budget that they are using for the war is going to finance whatever project they have for themselves, but they are not thinking about the average people. That is why they are using these ignorant people, ignorant young people from the southeast and every part of La Republique, telling them, go and kill those rats, go and kill those animals in the southern part of Cameroon. This is the moment every Ambazonian should call, pick up the phone and call your brother and say it's time for us to get together. We need to collaborate. We need to forget about some of the mistakes that we've done. Because sometimes when you make a mistake and you realize that was a mistake and you do not make any changes, then you are going to do the same thing. So it's the moment, it's now. Every Ambazonia, look at what is going on the ground, look at your brother, look at your relatives, look at the killing going on in our land, and ask yourself, what can I do personally to make sure we all get together and move this revolution forward? We can do it. When you say sorry to somebody, it makes you stronger, not weaker. When you say, I'm not going to be the leader, but I will support you to be the best leader ever, you are stronger, you are not making yourself weak. So let's learn to be selfless individuals in this revolution going forward. Thank you so much, Comrade Mike, and thank you, Mama G. We have a fight ahead of us, and we can do it. Let's all put our heads together and take care of this.
Oh, thank you again, Chairman Patrick, and thank you, Mama G, for coming on. I hope that Ambazonians have been able to benefit from the information we have put forth today, and we will continue to do so in the years ahead. We cannot relent. But first, let me say this with regards to collaboration. As we have already explained here, the only thing that is standing in the way of true collaboration is when people put their self-interest ahead of the interest of the nation. If you truly love Ambazonia, I don't see why you would insist that in order for us to come together, that you must be the leader. We have even said that we are not asking anybody to do away with their organization. Keep your organization. But let us come together and meet in a room and decide how each organization will contribute to this collaborative effort so that we can all succeed. But we must also understand that if there's anybody out there who thinks that he or she single-handedly will emerge as a champion to lead Ambazonia to freedom, it's not going to happen. There's nobody out there that I can see. We have to work together. We have to collaborate if we have to succeed. It is not about an individual. It is about Ambazonia. If we do what is right, this journey can be very much shortened. There is an impending doom in La Republique of Cameroon, and that's a golden opportunity for us to achieve our freedom. But we must be ready when the moment arises. We must be prepared. And by being prepared means we have to start planning now or yesterday. We don't have to wait for it to happen. Then we start scratching our heads and wondering what to do. We have to be ready for the moment. So when it arrives, when it comes, we should be ready to take advantage of it. And we have heard La Republique send some very false information out there that we are not interested in educating our children, which is of course a lie. We have simply said that we are not interested in having our children indoctrinated anymore. We are not willing to have our children confused, given information that has no benefit to them. So we want a country where students actually go to school to learn and not to be indoctrinated, because that's what we're seeing all over the place. Where children go to school to actually learn, not to be indoctrinated or confused with some false material. Where students actually learn our own history instead of the history of some foreign countries when they don't even have a clue about their own history. Where teachers are proud to be teachers because they will be treated with dignity and properly compensated for their services. Where the school curriculum will be drawn by Ambazonians and not some foreigners who have no interest in seeing our children succeed. And where the curriculum reflects our current trends, needs, and challenges, where schools are built to be conducive environments for learning. That is what we want for our children, not the quagmire, the chaos that we see out there. We saw recently in one school up in the northern zone where military men went into a school and were beating up children. Beating up children. I think one died or had a fractured spinal cord or something. This is not what we want. So we want the best for our children. And what La Republic is giving us is not the best. It is not the best. So fellow Ambazonians, I'm happy that you were able to join us today. And for those who were not able to join, I'm sure they will have time to watch the show later. So just continue sharing the link, and those who so others can have access to watch it as well. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stop without again thanking the Bull Unity Warriors for a job well done, great job, General Bonyo. We appreciate the efforts you people are making, and we will continue to reach out to assist you and providing the resources that you need to continue giving such spectacular results. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say, take good care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you again next week. The war zone is out. Good night.